Welcome to Babble on the Grade, where we talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses' latest, weirdest, and greatest teachings. I am ExJW Caleb, joined as always with Dax the Scholar and my Little PIMO, aka Peems. How are you guys doing? We have a special episode today.
We are doing as well as we can after yesterday.
What happened yesterday?
We watched the new JW broadcasting.
It's been 24 hours since the latest JW broadcasting hit. Yesterday, I asked you guys, should I watch it in preparation for this? Because I always, I always do. You guys said, no, let's just capture your reaction.
Let's back up. Yesterday we said, Caleb, stop what you're doing. Watch this now, and let's record.
Oh, yeah, no.
But
well, no, we're
going
to back up further.
But it's fine.
We're going to back up further. We had kind of decided we didn't really want to do every single broadcast. We were getting burned out on them, and we wanted to start talking about interesting issues. We had this whole pipeline lined up, and ideas like the degrees of shunning, and all these ideas that are going to come up, and guest stars, and we were planning all this out. And we're like, we are not going to do another broadcast for now. And then
because
I decided,
them. Like, they're very triggering. They're very horrible.
They're
boring. We don't like to watch them. Let's never watch them again. We literally, like, last time we watched a broadcast, and we were like, you know what? Let's not do this again, because
it's more fun to pick a topic.
Like it. Yes, I haven't seen the broadcast yet. I have somehow managed to avoid it. What I haven't managed to avoid are all the memes. It's only been 24 hours, and I feel like I don't know what's real and what's not, because I'm like, is this a meme or what's happening?
User requirement awake. Requirement.
Requiem.
Requiem. I can't read when it's multiple words.
Requiem awake. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. So, we are about to watch JW broadcast. You know what? I haven't watched this. How about you introduce it, my Little PIMO?
All right.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we are going to watch the new JW broadcasting, and I will get it up here on my screen.
Get it up there.
That sounds really bad.
I know. It feels sexy, though.
It does.
And can I just say, JW broadcasting with Steve and Lett is like my favorite. For some people, it's Tony Morris. They've explained. For me, it's Steve and Lett. I love him.
Have you noticed he sounds exactly like the voice actor for Goofy?
Oh my God. I just had this realization. You're right.
He does.
It's if Goofy took himself seriously and was leading a cult.
Yep.
Oh my God.
He sounds exactly like Goofy.
All right, guys. Before we do this, actually, I'm going to surprise both of you with a very short new thing. This is to get us warmed up.
That's me being surprised.
Oh, this poor man.
Oh,
so
is pornography a sin against God?
We are watching the video, Is Pornography a Sin Against God? And they picked an actor to act as the person watching pornography, apparently. So
this poor man.
All right.
This poor man with his poor porn stash.
His poor porn stash.
Amazing.
Yeah, so this is a new video that also just dropped. It's under latest videos, and is pornography a sin against God? Here we go. What do you guys think the answer is going to be?
No, it's not, because it's not in the Bible, so it's not against God.
Pornea.
It's not in the Bible, right?
Pornea.
I think that's the answer, right?
Well, we'll find out.
Once relegated to adult theatres, bookstores or newsstands, today pornography is everywhere. Only a click or tap away.
Not everywhere. It's online. It's not everywhere. It's on the internet.
I love how everyone at this bus stop is looking at porn.
Yeah, oh my God.
It is not new. Erotic art existed in ancient cultures. For some, it was even a part of their worship.
So that's why it's weird that the Bible doesn't mention it, because it existed back then.
I like how they make out that ancient cultures worshipping sexual beings is like such a horrific thing, as if sex itself is sinful in nature, even though it's basically the beginning of life for humans.
No, but
and
it's
just kind of sad to me because they've like kind of demonized this supernatural basic.
No, but
rights.
are the porn stars married to each other? That's what's important.
You're right.
So you can't know. Like, maybe. Like, I assume that most of them are, because most of them seem to be
the goddess
like,
porn
like a very
stars
faithful
from
life.
ancient times.
Well, it's just they were goddesses. See, goddesses can have multiple like men. Like they can have sex with multiple men. They can make videos about it, and it's fine.
The videos that they watched in
they can make videos about it for religious purposes. I'm assuming that's what the guy said when he said that that porn existed in ancient times. I'm assuming that there was like an ancient version of like porn website. I'm blanking on porn websites, but a porn website ancient version.
Oh, sure, blanking on them. Okay, all right, go ahead, my little.
Fine, I thought of too many, and I couldn't pick one. Okay, is that what you want from me?
The Bible's principles make very clear how God feels about sexual matters. 1 Corinthians 6, 9 and 10 leaves no doubt about God's view of sexual immorality, sexual acts outside of marriage.
Uh-oh. They contradict each other. The point of them including that scene in the video is to call out women for reading erotica.
Oh, yeah, because it is always the women's fault.
No, it looks a little bit like Twilight-ish, because you see
Twilight
like it's black like with a red thing. No, but it's what Jehovah's Witnesses would think is erotica.
They're thinking,
come on.
50 Shades of Grey, certain bodice, Outlander, stuff like that is erotica. It's mild erotica, but it's erotica.
You know a lot of it. I feel like you could name a lot of them, and I couldn't even name a single porn website.
I read
how weird is that, right? Oh, how shameful
I'm not
for you.
ashamed.
Let's shame you
I'm
now.
not ashamed of it. I don't like looking at porn. It freaks me out. So I only read it. Because then I can skip the parts that I don't like.
We're having huge revelations. Let's just finish watching this porn thing, because it's harder than I thought it would be.
Jesus told us that fueling immoral desires is also sinful. He said, "Everyone who keeps on looking at a woman so as to have a passion for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart."
This scripture crippled me when I was a teen, because I was obviously a very sexually aware teen, and I was sexually frustrated. And every now and then, when you're a teen, you just have thoughts about sex. It's just normal. It's just what happens. And every time that I had them, I would think of this scripture, and I would sometimes I would just pray to God, and I was like, I'm just so sorry. It was horrifying. It was really just horrible to be in my mind, when I could have just been like, oh yeah, it would be cool to have sex with her. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, and
I made it for such a huge thing.
It also you end up with the reverse effect of overly sexualizing attraction, because you start to view all attraction as to members of the opposite sex as sexual or same sex. I don't know you, and that's a problem, because it kind of
cripples your ability to have friends of the opposite sex, which is why so many witnesses think it's impossible to.
Yeah,
witnesses don't have friends of the opposite sex. They just
because if you make sex into a boogeyman, then anytime you are around someone of the opposite sex, the boogeyman might be there, and so you're treating everybody as if they're the boogeyman.
At Colossians 3:5, we are told to deaden our body members as respects sexual immorality, uncleanness, uncontrolled sexual passion.
Ooh, it's a flame.
Pornography
it's a
arouses immoral, unclean sexual desires.
It's gonna flare up. Yes, this imagery.
You can hear someone breathing on it.
That is the worst CGI I have ever seen.
Yes, that looks like PS1. Seriously.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it
looks
like desire can lead to. James 1:14 and 15 says we are drawn out and enticed by our own desire.
I thought that it was
then
Satan.
The desire, when it has become fertile, gives birth to sin.
It's web.
In turn, sin, when it has been carried out, brings forth death.
Oh, you don't want to die, do you?
If God
That's what's going to happen if you keep reading
that. Is that Bible?
Clearly, he would disapprove of us watching people engage in such acts.
Clearly. I mean,
pornography,
obviously.
Whether we watch it, read
Their
it,
weird
or listen
pose
to it,
right there is
must
making
be
me
highly
very
offensive
uncomfortable.
to God.
The way they're sitting.
He has a magnificent mustache,
God wants
though.
husbands and wives to enjoy love and intimacy in their marriage, but he hates all forms of sexual uncleanness, including pornography. Like any bad habit, viewing pornography can be overcome, and many,
What
with
if it's
God's
not a
help,
habit?
have
What if
successfully
you just
done
do it
so.
every now and then?
Maybe they were watching porn
To learn
together.
more about what the Bible says on this and many other topics,
I'm not the
go
only
to
one who thought that.
JW.org.
Online, a lot of people thought the
Well,
same
the
thing.
way that her quote unquote husband behind her was kind of like heavily breathing, and they were kind of like this.
Yeah,
All
that could
shifty.
be sexual tension in Jehovah's Witness world.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think that's how the governing body thinks people watch porn.
No, wait.
And nobody's going to correct
It
them.
is the exact imagery of a witness couple watching a rated R movie that has a sex scene that actually isn't that bad in it.
That might actually be what it is.
They're watching like.
They're watching Titanic.
All right.
All right.
Take us to
Yeah,
hell
take
on
us to
earth.
JW Broadcasting. I cannot wait. Steve and Lett look so old in that photo.
Now that we're through our appetizer of a small
Main course?
let's
And
get into
I
the
would
main
just
course.
like to say, Caleb, that this might be the first time that I have felt violence within me rise up.
Really?
And maybe it's just me being too sensitive, but I don't know. You be the judge.
Oh my god. Well, I mean,
That's bull. I've seen
we're
you drive.
we're already smoking, so you know we will get sentimental probably.
We extend a warm welcome to all of you. We're so happy to have you join us for this month's broadcast. Here's a little sample of what will be contained in our program. Proverbs 3:5 tells us to trust in Jehovah with all our heart. We'll see how three brothers facing different challenges overcame them by trusting in Jehovah completely. Though personal attacks may start small, being bullied can quickly make you feel alone and worthless, wondering, why me? In this month's My Teen Life, we'll hear how Charlie and Farron learned to cope with bullies and grew stronger and more confident as a result. And in a new dramatization, we'll reconnect with two dear friends, Neeta and Jade, and see how they remain loyal
Dearest.
They're
of
back.
when
To
confronted
each
with false
other.
reports about the truth.
Oh, they remain
Yes,
loyal to
there's
each other.
much to look
Ew.
forward to
So good.
in this
So
September
I know you're joking, Caleb, but
2022 edition of JW
you
Broadcasting.
will see.
The theme for this program is, as Jehovah's sheep reject the voice of strangers. It's estimated that there may be 15 million animal species on Earth today. But of all these animals, which one is most often used in the Bible to represent good people? Sheep. Jesus often used this illustration. Here are three examples. First, to his 12 apostles, he said at Matthew 10:16, I am sending you out as sheep among wolves. Second, regarding what he'll do shortly before Armageddon, he said at Matthew 25:32 and 33 that he will separate people one from another, just as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. In subsequent verses, he describes how the sheep will inherit everlasting life, but the goats will depart into everlasting destruction. Our third example, Jesus said at John 10:16, I have other sheep which are not of this fold. Those too I must bring in, and they will listen to my voice, and they will become one flock, one shepherd. But a question arises, why did Jesus use a sheep illustration to represent people who will gain everlasting life? Undoubtedly, because of the desirable qualities literal sheep have. They're gregarious, having a liking for companionship. They don't like to be alone. And it's a good thing, because without the flock and the protection of the shepherd, they're defenseless if a lion or bear approaches. About all they can do is bleat, "Bah."
What?
Goodbye,
What?
Goodbye,
What?
little sheep.
little sheep.
What?
Bah!
How? What? I have seen this man make a complete ass of himself for years now, and he somehow trumped it.
Yeah.
Can you play that again?
Oh yeah.
Not
I've listened to
only
this
not
so
only
many
did he
times.
choose to do a sheep impression in the middle of allegedly a very serious talk, he did a bad sheep impression. It wasn't even a good
Yeah,
beat.
he didn't even commit to it, man.
Nope.
Commit to it, Steven.
They set the stage with
Bah.
sheep are dumb, sheep are stupid,
Yeah.
sheep are sad, sheep don't like to be lonely. And now they're going to hit us with the you need to be like a sheep. Why?
All right,
So that
I
way
mean,
you can be lonely?
It sounds very appealing. He makes it sound very appealing to be a sheep. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, the qualities he's listed is like, well, they're gregarious.
What does
they're
gregarious mean?
like
It
requiring...
means like Greg. You know, like when you have like someone in the office and you don't like, and they're usually named Greg because Greg is just boring and he's wearing like
the
these
only
glasses
Greg
and he
the
smells
only,
bad.
The only Greg I know is one of the most fascinating people I know.
So basically he's saying we need to be like a sheep. We have to be followers, we have to be social, and we have to be defenseless. Because all we can do is go,
I'm telling you, he makes it sound very cool to be a sheep. I can't wait. How can I be a sheep, Steven?
Another good quality is that sheep as a whole tend to be peaceful, inoffensive, very different from goats. As little boys, my brother and I would pet the goats that my grandfather had. But if we turned our backs on them, one would often sneak up behind us and butt us for no reason. These are some of the desirable characteristics that make sheep an appropriate illustration for good people.
Oh, look, you paused at 420. That's
Hey,
one
that
thing.
means everybody
how-
has to dab.
What can we do?
I'm kidding, I've never dabbed.
No, it's at 7:10 for that.
let's go.
But the quality we especially want to focus on is identified at John chapter 10, verses 4 and 5. When he, that is the shepherd, has brought all his own out, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, because they do not know the voice of strangers. So what's the desirable quality? Sheep listen to the voice of their shepherd and reject the voice of strangers. Regarding this quality of sheep, the September 1st, 2004 Watchtower said this: "A book on Bible lands relates that a visitor once claimed that sheep recognize their shepherd by his dress, not his voice.
Let's talk about the fact that the only source for this they could find was from their own publication from 20 years ago. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
18 years ago, but almost
Yeah.
20 years ago.
I love how they're like, we can trust this because according to our sources, us.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works,
Not to
man.
mention, in this, it literally says, a book on Bible lands relates... A book on Bible lands. What the fuck is a book on Bible lands? Doesn't name the book, even though it totally could. Relates that a visitor once claimed that sheep recognize their shepherd by his dress, not his voice. A shepherd, just a random shepherd, by the way, answered that it was the voice they knew.
Yeah. So
Great.
do you need more proof,
Solved.
Dax?
Yes.
Do you need more proof?
Yes, I do. Source recency matters. All right.
You're asking for too much. I mean, they say a shepherd. They say a book. This wasn't a book, Dax. Are you gonna mistrust the watch? Look. You can source the Watchtower. Okay, the Watchtower, September 1st, 2004, page 17. That's the source.
A shepherd answered that it was the voice they knew. To prove this, he exchanged clothing with a stranger, Dressed in the shepherd's garb, the stranger called the sheep, but they did not respond. They did not know his voice. Yet when the shepherd called them, though he was disguised, the sheep came at once. Please ask yourself, as one of Jehovah's figurative sheep, do I obediently respond to the voice of the fine shepherd and flee from the voice of strangers?
Okay, pause.
Well, let's talk about this.
It's just let's talk about this, because so far, like, let's just track back, like, how we got here, because it's only been 6 minutes, and he has taken us through a ride to get to where he wants to go, because where he wants to go is don't listen to other people. But the Bible doesn't say that. Like, the Bible says, Paul wrote to the Galatians, like, if me or an angel or whatever tells something contrary to what's here in the Bible, call them out. They're not to be trusted, right? So the Bible doesn't support his argument. The only thing he has is this verse that says that the sheep listen to the voice of their masters. So he has to first make us into a sheep,
Make him into our master.
Make him into our master, and then make strangers into be like, oh, see, they don't listen to strangers, and that's where we want to focus on. It's not the verse isn't about the sheep not listening to strangers, but he's gonna make it look like it. He really, Jehovah's Witnesses go through the gigantic mental gymnastics of reading some tangentially related verses just to pretend that everything that they teach is actually based in the Bible instead of whatever he's thinking
just
of
you
at
wait
the moment.
for the mental gymnastics you're going to have to apply
It's only
to
been 6 minutes.
stay a converted witness as this continues on.
The original stranger was Satan the devil. Like a ventriloquist, he made a serpent appear to talk. But the words were Satan's words. Satan thereby used his voice to slander Jehovah and deceive Eve. Today, Satan continues his work as an evil ventriloquist using not serpents, but human puppets to enunciate his voice, these acting as his agents, either wittingly or unwittingly. But now, let's discuss 3 examples of how our fine shepherd tells us one thing, but Satan's underlings or strangers tell us something opposite.
Oh, he's gonna give us an
We
example.
must be vigilant to
They
listen
never do this.
to the right
Let's
voice.
hear his example. All right.
Our fine shepherd tells us
He's gonna
as
get
our
very
first
direct.
example these words at Matthew chapter 24, verses 45 through 47. Who really is the faithful
Who
and
would that
discreet
be?
slave whom his master appointed over his domestics to give them their food at the proper time? Happy is that slave if his master on coming finds him doing so. Truly I say to you, he will appoint him over all his belongings. We know the Master Jesus found the faithful and discreet slave spiritually feeding right-hearted ones in 1919, and at a future time will appoint him over all his belongings. So what's the implication? Obviously, even now, Jesus fully trusts the faithful slave. And all of us, even individual members of the governing body, should do the same. But what does the voice of strangers say on this subject? Don't trust the faithful slave. He will mislead you. And who often have the loudest voice promoting this false message? Apostates. Hebrews 13:9 labels false messages as strange
Now you can
teachings.
pause it.
Yes, they are the teachings of strangers. Some examples of their strange teachings are that the faithful slave protects pedophiles.
Pause it. He just said that the accusation of them protecting pedophiles is a teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! Of course, because that's just Jehovah's Witness.
No, because he has to make it fit the scripture.
Yeah.
That talks
strange
about
voice
that.
is apostates.
Oh yeah, of course. And I can't believe that he addressed my video. They're like almost.
I know
directly.
everyone
Like,
felt
my
that way.
video-
Everybody was like, they're talking directly to me and fuck them. Like,
No, seriously, because I literally have. Look, it's obviously not my video. This guy has never seen my video. No one at Bethel has seen me a video. But I have like in my small channel, I have like this small video called "How Would You Know" or "The Evil Slave" or something like that. I can't remember.
It's a
Where
really good
I
video.
literally-
How would you know
I
whether or not the
literally
governing
make
body
the
is the
point.
evil slave?
Yeah, I literally make the point because if Stephen had continued reading, the bit about the evil slave, the faithful and discreet slave, you would have seen that the Bible continues to warn, hey, however, if the slave becomes evil. So the only thing that I'm asking is, how would you know if the slave became evil? And that is literally what Stephen Lett doesn't want you to think. He doesn't want you to think of that.
He doesn't
Not
want you
even
to know
think of
how
that.
the slave could become evil because he doesn't want you to acknowledge that the scripture exists, which is why we never read it as witnesses.
No, of course not. Oh my God.
But also,
And then,
the direct call out of the protecting of pedophiles, literally,
I mean,
like,
it's true.
literally a claim that wakes people up.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna send Stephen Lett the link to the Australian Royal Commission. Maybe he hasn't seen it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Keep playing. I want to keep watching this.
Yep.
This is the best part. I just love that he connected the strange voice in the Bible to apostates and apostate
of course.
teachings.
Of
Teachings
course.
of a strange voice are
Those are teachings.
Are people who are desperately trying to tell others that the group is lying.
people who criticize me.
I mean, there's literally people that are like, hey, I was abused in the cult. No one helped me, so I'm making a video about this. That's who Stephen Lett is talking about.
Yeah, yes. And
That's
and
what Stephen Lett
what
is
that
addressing
person
right
is
now.
saying is that they are spouting apostate teachings to try to get followers. Like it's some evil
Mm-hmm.
thing. I got so mad when I saw this, I almost cried. I was so pissed off. I was so pissed. I was like, you're literally delegitimizing every single victim who has been disfellowshipped or disassociated. It's just disgusting. Sorry.
Although, that being said, I realized today that I have like 350 followers on Twitter, and I feel really good about it. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
you
Not
do
gonna lie.
have-
I'm like, man, I'm kind of like a big shot now.
You are taking followers.
You
out
are
to
taking
yourself.
followers. You're getting them. All right, let's watch.
All right, it's about to get worse.
Or that slave will exploit you so they can live lives of luxury. Those are both bald-faced lies.
You should trust us because God trusts us. I mean, that is
Yes.
actually the argument they made. They sat down and they said, well, who should you trust? And then they read the scripture about the faithful and discreet slave. And they're like, that's us. So don't listen to other people because God trusts us.
Which is, and that's actually something I pointed out to my little PIMO last night, was that it used to be trust in Jehovah, trust in Jesus. We trust in Jehovah and we trust in Jesus, so we're doing what they say, so you should also follow us because we're doing what they say because we trust them. And instead it is, Jesus trusts us, so we're kind of taking over now, and, you know, he's
You're right.
good,
The
he's
narrative
chilling.
is changing. Yeah.
It is changing, and it's disgusting. It's horrible.
They've started thanking the governing bodies, thanking the governing body during their broadcasts now. It's happened several times.
Yes, I mean they've thanked the governing body in the latest convention. The narrative is changing, so the governing body is gaining more and more of an acknowledgement.
They're getting so much credit.
Yeah,
Which is something
they
as witnesses you are not allowed to do. You're not allowed to take credit.
Do you remember in the last broadcast that part that they played on the past of the governing body of the past, and where they were like talking about the history of the governing body?
Yes, where they were trying to redefine the governing body to be like, oh no, we've
It's
always been
here.
A cult like this, and it's insane because like right now, like I'm living fine, right? Like I'm not poor or anything, but I am not living the life of luxury that Stephen Lett is living. He's wearing a pinky ring. He's wearing a
pinky
gold
ring, the
thingy.
height of luxury.
He's wearing a golden watch. He's wearing very nice cufflinks. I mean, if anyone's like, I don't have any of that. If anyone's living a life, I'm not one of the guys that say that he wears a Rolex or whatever. But what I'm saying is, he clearly has money to like dress himself and dress
He can
himself
accessorize
very nicely in luxury. We're recording in t-shirts, man. We're not living in luxury.
I mean, this is Stephen Lett. He also owns multiple investment properties
Also,
and a lot of money.
I would disagree. My Avatar The Last Airbender sweatshirt is way nicer than those cufflinks.
Yeah, but we're not wearing pants like none of us. We can't afford them.
We can't. You're right.
But you are right. When you look at this, he's got everything in gold. He's got like a gold-colored tie. He's got a gold tie clip. He's got gold cufflinks. He's got a gold ring.
Gold watch.
And a gold pinky ring. 2 gold
He also
rings.
has a tie. What are
and a
those
gold
tie
watch.
things called? The chains that go across the tie?
Yeah, a tie chain. Like, if someone wants to live a life of luxury, is the guy dressed in gold?
Acts 20:30 says that apostates speak twisted things. They do this in order to draw God's sheep away and make them followers of themselves. Something that's twisted is bent out of shape or distorted. They speak twisted things by leaving out vital details, taking things out of context, or in some other way manipulating a truth into a lie or into a misleading half-truth.
Then cite your fucking sheep source.
Yes. I mean, don't do what you're saying apostates do and give us the whole information. Tell us, what are apostates saying that is wrong? Tell us, look, in JW Facts, they say this and this, and it's wrong because of this and this. Though that would be all of the facts. That's what JW Facts does.
Yep.
The website is literally, look, these are the facts. Do whatever you want. Like, if you wanna stay, if you wanna leave, it doesn't matter.
These are the facts.
These are the facts. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's Stephen Lett clearly does not want to show the facts because the facts will be damning.
Yeah, he'll never
and
cite a source. He'll never give an example.
That's the fucking insidious thing, is that if they would literally just out themselves as having harbored pedophiles.
Oh my! I can't
Like,
believe
what is the worst? No, I'm saying if they did, what is the worst thing that could happen? What happened to the Catholic Church? They aren't willing to look at examples of churches that have had this problem and admitted to it and paid the legal repercussions for it and have moved on and gained followers. They refuse to look at those examples, so instead they're doubling down. They're refusing to cooperate with authorities, and they're a sinking ship now because of it.
Yeah,
and they're blaming apostates for that. Which sure, we'll take the credit. It's fine.
It's just looking at that would mean they are never willing to admit fault, and looking at that would mean that they would have to admit fault, and a Jehovah's Witness will never, ever admit fault. Like it's not how they're bred. Like that's why they have new light. That's why you have past truths and present truths. That a Jehovah's Witness will never admit that the governing body is wrong, because the moment they can admit that the governing body can't be wrong is the moment that they start waking up.
2 Peter 2:3 says, "They will greedily exploit you with counterfeit words." A counterfeit is something that's carefully designed to look like the real thing. Take, for example, counterfeit money. It might look genuine, but it's fake and thus worthless. If we're deceived into accepting it, we'll lose money. But if we're deceived into accepting the counterfeit words of apostates, we'll lose our life. And apostates will give us absolutely nothing of value in exchange. Can you imagine really needing a loving shepherding visit and asking apostates to give you one?
You good?
It's just, he really thinks that people need this.
Yeah.
No one wants this. Everyone dreads this. Oh my
Well,
god!
And not to mention,
oh my god.
something that Ron Pimo said,
Yeah?
and I believe he's also Ron Pimo on Twitter, is he goes, I mean, if you've talked to any apostates for comfort, Yeah, I would ask an apostate for a shepherding call.
Honestly, I've gotten better comfort from apostates than I ever got from elders. Because apostates actually know what you're going through because they've been through that. And they're willing to just talk to you instead of being like,
judgy.
You know, something that has helped me is, what Bible verse can I quote? No, they can just talk to you. And you can just talk and connect. So this is objectively wrong. Besides, ridiculous.
I know the scenario. We wouldn't ask an apostate for a shepherding call. The ironic thing is, someone has had to have asked an apostate for a shepherding call because plenty of PIMOs are ministerial servants and elders.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh
so you
my
would.
God, yeah.
And
Apostates,
you have.
Apostates don't ask for them, but they certainly provide them. Just in secret. Oh my god.
Actually, hey, if you're listening and you're an elder or a ministerial servant or have been one, if you are or were PIMO, just add us on Twitter. Did you have, like, if you had to give a shepherding call, did you kind of, like, skew the message a little bit to help wake them up? Or did you actually follow through with the intended message? Did you actually, like, stick to the scripture stuff?
Yeah, let us know. At BabylonTG on Twitter. We would actually love to know about that.
Yeah, because I'm really curious.
This isn't about the engagement. We really want to know.
Simmerly. I heard it the first time. I'm hearing it this time.
Similarly,
I hate it. Simmerly.
It's already a lazy thing because it's obviously just like, okay, I need to connect this to my point.
Similarly.
Oh, I'm just going to say similarly. And now he's like, I'm just going to say similarly.
Similarly.
Who cares? No one's listening to this.
No one's listening.
No one's going to care.
similarly, we must be careful about believing everything presented in the media about Jehovah's organization. Remember, the media is commonly motivated by prejudice, hatred, and a desire for profit. False and exaggerated news reports are very common.
It's so fascinating to hear this talk because we all remember sitting in the Kingdom Hall hearing the talk about how you have to be careful about Googling Jehovah's Witnesses online or reading certain news articles because there are people that are prejudiced against us. But I have not heard a wide sweeping generalization that all media is biased and out to get you from the governing body.
Yeah. And then again, just no source. Just no source. It's just source. God trusts me, so...
I was going to say, source, trust me, bro, because Jesus does.
That's perfect, yes.
Also, I want to add, and actually, I would like Dax to talk about this. What happens right now when you Google Jehovah's Witnesses?
Oh my God. Yeah, you want me to talk about this because I brought this up. So I've been complaining...
Nice.
No, I know that sounded angry. I'm being thankful. I'm excited. I just sound angry when I'm excited. So, if you Google Jehovah's Witnesses right now, if you did it a few weeks ago, it would have all been kind of mixed news. Some stuff about court cases, some stuff about going back door to door soon. If you do it right now, it is all about returning back door to door because the witnesses went on a big PR thing. AP News posted their article about it. Everybody posted the same article. It is everywhere. You can go page to page to page to page on Google and not find something that isn't about that. Which is ironic considering that happened right before they released this broadcast.
Yeah, it's
where they know that witnesses are going to be Googling Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm a conspiratorial person, because if you ask Peems, I really don't believe in any conspiracy theories that I can think of. But this one I do. Yeah,
it's just the timing is just particularly too perfect, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Jehovah's Witnesses really understand the Streisand effect.
Yeah, but maybe
Wait, do you know what the Streisand effect is, Caleb?
Oh, yeah. Basically, the Streisand effect is when you tell someone not to do something, like they'll want to do it even more. That's it. It's just...
I like the way that you explained it because I didn't know what the Streisand effect was, but I didn't know who Barbara Streisand was. And when I asked Pimo what the Streisand effect was, he goes, Barbara Streisand was an actress. First of all, is an actress. Second of all, yes, I know who Barbara Streisand is.
Well, I was telling you about the lawsuit in the story.
I know, but Barbara Streisand is an actress.
I was going to say she's an actress who had a house in Hollywood that she didn't want people photographing. But you never let me finish my sentences.
Actually, go ahead. Explain the story for our listeners. They might actually like to hear.
Yeah,
for people
Barbara
who are too young
Streisand
to know who
had a
Barbra
house
Streisand is.
in I think it was Beverly Hills or somewhere in California that she didn't want people to see, and someone took aerial photographs, and she didn't want them published, so she sued the journalist, which made everyone, when the headlines came out that she was suing a journalist over photos, everyone wanted to see the photos, and a million times more people saw the photos than if she had just not said anything. And so basically the Streisand effect is when you tell people not to look at something, specifically look, in this case of photos, they're going to look. Like, that makes them want to look. It makes it more interesting to look at.
Yeah, right now, I couldn't hear any of that because I was Googling up Barbara Streisand's house. I just wanted to take a look at to
Oh
see
my
what
god! But I actually do
it
want to
looks
know
like.
now.
If you
It's a
search,
nice pool.
If you search for
Nice pool.
Streisand effect, there's actually a Wikipedia article with the photos in it.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a nice house.
It's a very nice house.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
It's
Go-
coastal
go
with a
look
pool
at her
on a
house.
cliff.
Oh, it's
Everyone
Malibu.
go look at her house.
Oh wow! Somebody even mapped out like the wings of her house.
Ah,
That's
perfect.
nuts.
Exactly.
Oh, I'd love to know where she sleeps.
For example, in one European country, many people were indignant when an emotional press report stated that a young female witness died because she refused a blood transfusion. Were those the complete facts? No. The patient refused a blood transfusion on religious grounds, but she did agree to alternative non-blood medical management. This could have been implemented immediately and likely would have saved her life. However, the hospital delayed matters unnecessarily until it was too late. The press report didn't mention these facts.
Okay, okay. My brain is just exploding because he's trying to say no. It's just the press didn't mention everything. All right, the press said that the Jehovah's Witness rejected a blood transfusion, when the reality is that the Jehovah's Witness rejected a blood transfusion after the hospital took too long to do this. But even if that's true, even if what Stephen Lett is saying is true, they still died because they refused a blood transfer. A blood transfusion. Like, they still died for it. Like, you're not disproving it. Even in your own way of disproving, like, it's still true. What they're reporting may not be like the full facts, but he's not gonna. Like, I'm assuming he
Honestly,
didn't just read the whole fucking news article, right?
But I do think it's the full facts. I mean, like, saying she refused blood transfusions, but she accepted alternative medicines. Let me just rephrase that. She refused a blood transfusion and was fine with anything that wasn't a blood transfusion.
Yeah, but
Like,
his point
it's the
was
same.
like,
He thinks they should have added extra words to soften it.
no. His point was that this person only died for refusing a blood transfusion because the hospital took too long, where treating her with blood alternatives wouldn't have helped, right? But he's saying, if the hospital have treated her with blood alternatives before, then she'd be alive. Then she wouldn't have needed the blood transfusion to live. So it's the hospital's fault.
Yeah,
What I'm saying
exactly.
is,
They
even
straight
if that
up blame-
happened, that doesn't matter. Like, she still needed a blood transfusion, and she still
headline's
died
accurate.
because of it. It's still accurate.
While it's unreasonable to distrust all secular sources of information, we must be wary. 1 John 5:19 says, "The whole world is lying in the power of the wicked one." Now, let's discuss a second example of the voice of our fine shepherd Jesus. Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 and 28. Jesus said, "You heard that it was said, 'You must not commit adultery.' But I say to you that everyone who keeps on looking at a woman so as to have a passion for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Our fine shepherd is telling us not only to avoid sexual immorality, but also to flee from anything that could lead to it. such as immoral thoughts. And at Matthew 19:9, our fine shepherd tells us, I say to you that whoever divorces his wife except on the grounds of sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery. Here Jesus makes clear that the only valid basis for divorce and remarriage in God's eyes is if a disloyal mate commits sexual immorality. But what's the voice of strangers of Satan's world telling us regarding divorce, adultery, and other forms of sexual immorality? No problem. It's your choice. You have the freedom to do what you want. In fact, in order to make sexual immorality appear more innocent, it's often euphemized. Sexual perversion, such as homosexuality, is called an alternative lifestyle. One so-called expert said, it's simply like being left-handed. Pornography is called adult entertainment. Adulterous betrayal of one's marriage mate is called having an affair. Many call getting married old-fashioned and see nothing wrong with living together without marriage. And this world's media is very skillful at presenting something bad as good. For example, in a movie, a female character might be portrayed as having a husband who is abusive. You like the woman, and you want her to find happiness. Then a handsome man starts working in her office, and he's so nice to her. There's an attraction between them, and the budding romance is presented as something good. Soft background music makes it hard to consider her course to be bad. It's easy to keep watching and hope she leaves her marriage mate and runs off with her workmate. And usually that's what happens.
I want to point out here that he just told this hypothetical story about a woman who is being abused by her husband.
Yeah.
And how horrible it would be if the world encouraged her to leave him.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I don't think we need to rebut anything. Like, I feel this speaks for itself. Yeah, anyone who's listening to this will know that this is bad. Like, we don't need to be like, this is bad. No, it's very obvious.
Instead of the lesson being, don't abuse your spouse, it's if you are being abused by your Christian spouse, figure it out.
Yeah, the world may fool you into thinking that staying with them is wrong.
Yeah, the world might trick you into thinking that you shouldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? Subject yourself to abuse. The world might convince you that you should not subject yourself to abuse, and if the world tries to convince you that you should have boundaries, that's really bad.
I'm telling you, these things rebut themselves sometimes.
So easily, we can forget that Jehovah and Jesus hate adultery and unscriptural divorce. But when we reject the voice of this world and listen to the voice of Jehovah and Jesus, we bring protection and blessings to ourselves and others. But now, our third example of the voice of our fine shepherd is at Matthew chapter 6, and we're going to read verses 19 and 20. Stop storing up for yourselves treasures on the earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break in and steal. Rather, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal. We're told that our focus should be on spiritual things and not on physical things.
I just want to point out, like, the point outlines that Lett puts on the screen here. How do these things connect? Like, number 2 feels like it is not connected to any of the rest of this.
It feels like a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich. It exists, but it shouldn't.
What he's saying is that apostates are going to tell you that if you want to be gay, that's fine. That's up to you. And that apostates are also telling you, if you want to have an affair, that's fine. That's up to you. Now, one of those things is true. And let's just say we're all married, obviously, to each other. We're all in this three-way marriage kind of thing. Yeah, and we are yet to commit adultery, with anyone, unless you're cheating. Like you guys are cheating with someone else.
No, we're not cheating on you. There's no one
there
else,
you go.
I promise.
We love you, Caleb.
It's just
what we're saying is, like, we're all married. We haven't cheated. We don't think cheating is fine, actually. Like a very notable.
A throuple. We can't joke
We're
about
not married
that.
to each other.
We're not.
Caleb.
Well, no, we already made that.
Did we make that joke before? I can't remember what I've said in this podcast. I'm usually like too smoky for remembering anything.
And this is especially true when thinking about where we are in the stream of time, in the final part of the last days.
What? He said it again.
He did.
He said it again.
You got to rerun those greatest hits sometimes.
Everyone made fun of him for saying that. Everyone was like, in a few years, he's gonna look very stupid. And no one counted with the fact that in a few years, he was just gonna say it again. Oh my God. Like the phrase that sent Stephen Lett to infamy. He just, okay. No, I see why everyone's talking about this broadcast now.
Yeah, everything. We're going back over the greatest hits again.
But what's the voice of strangers of this world on this subject? Exert yourself vigorously to acquire material possessions. Pursue things that will make your life comfortable, because that is what will bring you happiness. The question is, to whom are we listening? Jehovah and Jesus tell us to be content now with a spiritual paradise, and to concentrate on our life-saving preaching work, and that they will provide a physical paradise later. 1 Peter 2:11 indicates that we should view ourselves as temporary residents who are just passing through this old system and headed for the real life in the new world. What do we mean by temporary resident? Well, imagine that you rent an old house to live in while a new, beautiful house is being built for you. You'll live there only a few months. Would you install a new concrete driveway? Would you put in new electrical wiring and plumbing? Would you install brand new vinyl siding? No. You might do a few cosmetic things to make your stay a little more comfortable, but you wouldn't do anything major. Why? Because you're just a temporary resident, and that soon you'll move into your beautiful new home.
They have the audacity to compare renting a house to determining what you are going to do with the rest of your short, insignificant life.
Yeah, and I mean,
like,
they're still being the Ramapur, right? Like, I haven't missed that. Like, they're still building that.
And they don't rent.
Yeah, they don't rent. Like, they buy shit.
They
like,
bought it. They're failing in their own example.
If you think that the end is soon, just rent something, and then the end will come. The owner will die, and then you can just use the money for more print shops or something.
Yeah. Rent,
why are you wasting money, man? Like, buying is wasting money
for this earth.
I think that temporary residence in this world thing is really interesting to talk about, because it is something we heard a lot as witnesses, and we don't actually talk about it that often. But the concept there is that we are no part of this world, that we're just temporary here, and so we're not supposed to get close connections to people. We're not supposed to try to make more money and improve our lives. And so I guess I just feel like if you wanted to convince someone that Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult, you just have to show them the first 20 minutes of this broadcast, because we've got everything here. We've got telling people, don't make more money, don't improve your lives because the end is coming. You've got the final part of the last days. You've got telling women not to leave their abusive spouse. You've got telling people
Well,
not to
that's
read false
because-
reports. It's everything in one nice little bunch. It's
Because they're
perfect.
worried about retention at this point. The message changing, and Caleb, I don't know if you remember this. They announced that the message someday would change and become a judgment message, right?
Yeah.
And realistically, what the message changing has become is they're doing everything they can in their publications to maintain their members that are already indoctrinated. They know that in this day and age with Gen Z and the way that the internet works, they can't indoctrinate new people as easily or as quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is their retention plan.
Yeah, this is just damage control. This is please don't listen. Don't keep listening to other people because people are leaving. Could you don't? That's this broadcasting.
Yeah, could you don't?
Could you don't? Yes.
Could you don't?
Well, if we think of ourselves just as temporary residents in this old system, it'll be a real protection against the materialism that is promoted by the voice of strangers. We've now discussed 3 examples of Jesus' voice. Number 1, trust the faithful and discreet slave. 2, reject sexual immorality and unscriptural divorce. 3, focus on storing up spiritual treasures rather than material treasures. Of course, there are many other examples of these 2 different voices, but may we all be vigilant to listen to the right voice of Jesus.
That fucking pause he puts in there. Like, what is he hoping that people think, oh, the governing body. Oh, right, Jesus.
No. He made a mistake. He was reading, and he thought that he was done reading, but then he realized that the sentence didn't end there.
But may we all be vigilant to listen to the right voice of Jesus.
I think that's what happened because he ends his sentence
They're just
and then he
sick of
just
this
says,
shit. This is like
of
the 8th.
Jesus.
This is like the 8th talk that they've had to do with him, and they're like, fine, what? It's good enough. It's fine.
No, because they don't do second takes.
At all?
They don't do that. Like if there's a mistake, they just leave it.
Can you?
So I
can you
truly
imagine
believe that
telling a
he just-
governing body member that they have to do a reshoot. Nah, those
Yeah,
guys
no,
wouldn't do
come
it.
on.
Jehovah himself said, "This is my son, the beloved, whom I have approved. Listen to him." But in order to do so obediently as Jehovah's sheep, we must reject the voice of strangers. But how would you handle things if the voice of strangers was brought to you by someone
Oh, this is
close,
triggering.
a friend,
Oh, man.
or perhaps even a family member? That's what Jade faces in the following dramatization.
Yes.
How will she learn to
Yes!
reject the voice of strangers in a sensitive situation?
Well, this is better than you think.
A sensitive situation. Oh my God. Oh,
This
they're
video
living
is exactly
together.
what PIMO talks
oh my
about
God.
all the time.
I'm just gonna say, and I know that my partner listens to this, but Neeta is the most attractive Jehovah's Witness I have ever seen.
She's hot.
She's very pretty. It's hard. Come on, I'm
No,
just
no,
saying.
no, you're
As
right.
a Jehovah's
She's smoking.
Witness, I would be very surprised. I'd be like, man, seriously? Like, I can guarantee that there are probably around 2,000 Jehovah's Witnesses right now trying to figure out who Neeta is and if she's single.
She's just
I
getting
can
proposed
guarantee
at
you
left
that.
and right.
Yes, she just gets
I
proposals
hope
from
she's just
everywhere.
like an eternal maiden. Just
Yeah,
Running off with Jade.
asexual.
Look, she's secretly gay. That's why she plays this character
know.
very well. That's why she
It's
plays
true.
it so well. You can't fake that chemistry.
Yeah, it's true.
Amen. Smells wonderful. Oh, wait, I forgot. You should cook every night.
If you clean every night.
No, we'll take it in turns.
Ta-da!
But this looks amazing.
Thanks. It's a practice for my first guest.
Really? Who?
My mum.
That's wonderful.
We had our first phone call in a year that wasn't a total disaster, so I invited her around tomorrow.
It'll go great.
Hi, Mum.
Hello, love.
Come in. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. Let me take that.
Oh, thanks, my love.
It's fine.
Your roommates, you say they're explorers?
Pioneers. They preach full-time, but they work part-time.
I see. But you're not...
No. Not yet, anyway.
Jade, love. All this. I see it's made you a better person. Heaven knows I tried. But I miss bits of the old Jade.
Bits? What bits?
Where's the Jade that questioned everything?
So then she pulls out her phone and starts showing me stuff about witnesses.
What kind of stuff?
News stories, all negative and slanted. I tried to change the subject, but she just kept at it.
See you later, girls.
Oh, bye.
Keisha.
Sorry, I gotta get ready.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Where was the Jade that questioned everything? Oh my God. I mean, seriously, like I could say more, but do you need me? Like, I think no one needs me to, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to point it out and say, oh my God. And then and then Mom showed her proof. Like, she was like, hey, how about you become more analytical? Here's some proof. And it's just like, oh, can you believe this? Oh, it was a horrible time. Oh my God. Oh, I don't. Guys, what do you have to say, guys? Like, you've had time to process. Obviously, I'm seeing this for the very first time.
Yeah, I feel that this is the kind of thing we would see in conventions in person and assemblies. Like, at least the rhetoric. I mean, the acting is clearly better here, but
of course.
But rhetoric-wise, they usually avoid being this plain in the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Like, they're usually a lot more blunt when it's not being recorded, and I find that really, really interesting.
Yeah, you're right. Like, this rhetoric, like this message, this blunt, would usually come like from someone sharing an experience, and it's like that person. So, you know, you have like some level of, okay, well, like, this person is like the faithful and disgraced late, right? But here it's just it's that's not there, obviously.
Yep. I also, so for those who don't know it, you've probably picked it up from our jokes so far, but there is kind of a trend of people shipping Jade and Neeta, and not everybody likes that, but the actors have so much chemistry with each other that a lot of people like to joke about Jade and Neeta being a couple. And given that context, the plot of this is that Jade and Neeta are now living together, and Neeta is introducing Jade to her mother.
This is very big for the JW LGBTQ plus fan.
Seriously?
Lore.
I mean, this is missing the sexual bits, but this is totally like ripped out of my fanfic.
All right.
Well, how long are you going to be gone for?
I'll stay another month. I told my daughter it's too hot here. What's happened to me?
Abigail?
Jade girl, how are you?
Been better.
Oh, Neeta said that your mother visited.
I hope you don't mind.
No. Mum's driving me mad. It's like it's her hobby to ruin my life.
Oh, she sounds wonderful. Like me when my daughter got baptized.
You opposed your daughter?
Oh, mercy, yes. I love her so much and didn't want to lose her.
But I'm not going anywhere.
Of course not, but a worried mother doesn't know that. Mother, lunch is ready. I got to go, but I have a scripture for you. When you read it, remember, your mum is not the stranger.
John chapter 10 and verse 5. They will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, because they do not know the voice of strangers. Mum is not the stranger.
Yeah, I mean,
It's what she shares.
What is?
Reject the voice, not her.
We've just seen how Jade is not having a good time because her mom is like, hey, there are some links about your religion that say that like your religion isn't like the best religion ever. So maybe like look, could you take a look at this? Like just because I'm just worried about you. That's it.
Yep.
But she has to think about this scripture about the sheep. But the mom isn't the stranger. No one's the stranger. Like it's
Yep.
that scripture is not about Christians today.
Anything negative is the voice of Satan because
And
he's
it's
a puppeteer.
proof. Like, yeah, exactly. Like she's like, oh, my mom isn't to blame. It's obviously Satan's manipulation. I can't blame my mom. It's just Satan's using her.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
It's just disgusting.
And what's terrible about that message in this video is that is not their message. If that was their message, we would all be allowed to talk to our families.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
the things that we believe are guided by Satan and not by us.
That's a great point. She's about to respond. Her mom just tried to show her another link. What do you think's going to happen, Caleb?
I think they're going to have an honest conversation and Neeta's going to take a look at the links
Jade.
and she's going to be like,
I think
whatever.
We've
They're
swapped their names
interchangeable.
like 3
okay?
times today.
It doesn't matter. Blonde, very good actress is going to have a conversation with her mom and she's going to be like, hey, listen, I have the truth. So just show me the links and I'll explain it to you. Like, it's gotta be like, we'll find the truth together. Just show me the links and I'll tell you how they're wrong. Like, I'll use the Bible. I'll use JW.org. I'll have it open on my phone so I can look things up.
Oh, you think?
Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
I think that sounds.
So you think she's going to defend her beliefs and prove why she's right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, she has the truth, right? Like the truth needs no defense.
Yeah.
Obviously, the links are wrong.
That
like
makes
if
sense
she's so
to
sure.
me. That makes sense to me. Let's watch her
that's what I
defend
would
her
do.
beliefs.
That's what I would do. Yeah, let's see.
Did you look at those links that I sent you?
Mum, I want us to get together, but I won't hear anything negative about my beliefs.
Well, perhaps we just won't talk religion.
It's a deal then?
All right then. I can see I'm not going to get anywhere. So what subject do you want to talk about?
The deal fell apart fast.
Jade, I know we weren't going to talk religion, but I must tell you this one thing that
Mum.
I read.
I thought we weren't going to talk about this. It's getting late. I'm gonna go. Thanks for dinner. I'll call you tomorrow.
Jade, I got an alert this morning and I'm really
Mum,
worried about this.
No, I don't.
I was sure this wouldn't work. And then it happened.
Jade, I'd like to change our agreement. If I ask you what you believe, you get to answer. Short answers I won't be converting.
Pause.
It's a deal then.
Yeah, it's a deal.
I think it's the end.
Oh my god. So I can't hear anything negative. And she's like, oh man, I mean, I want to have a relationship with my daughter, so I guess I might as well just know what the fuck she's learning at this
You're
cult.
not allowed to make a defense against.
Oh my god.
You're not allowed to make a defense for Jehovah anymore.
And if you
Oh my
refuse
God.
long enough, eventually you might win them over.
Oh
By not
my
answering their
God.
accusations or questions.
Or not even looking at them.
Not even addressing them.
No, you have to be willing to walk away. You need to walk away. If someone has proof that your religion may be wrong in something, you walk away. It doesn't matter if it's your mom, you walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, this is insane.
She tried to walk away and her mom got her hand and said, okay, sorry.
Jade and Neeta tried to walk away. Yeah, that's who.
So, Neeta was barely in this one.
Yeah. She was just there to be like, no, they're still in a committed relationship. Don't worry about it. But you know what? Like with that intro and like the episode and everything, I think that they may know that Jade and Neeta was like the most popular part, and we may see more Jade and Neeta dramatizations of whatever it is that Jehovah's Witnesses are dealing with according to the governing body.
They have to show the indoctrination of her mother.
Yeah, they left it open. This had a name, like this was an episode with a name. If this was just a dramatization, they wouldn't have done that, I feel. I'm willing to bet right now that they're going to do Jade and Neeta dramas. And this is Bible prophecies predictions. So if they make one in 2,000 years, I still get to claim that I win, okay?
Yes.
This to me looks a lot like if they went and picked the clips that ExJWs talk about the most and then like made a greatest hits album, it would be this video.
Yeah. It feels like this governing body broadcast was a direct attack on apostates.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
it is.
That is why I got so angry and felt like I was going to cry. It feels so frustrating to feel like, because this will have one or two outcomes on your relatives or family or friends. Sorry, either it'll help wake them up, or they'll double down and they'll use these tactics. The tactic of walking away. My own sisters do that. They literally just they were not interested in what I had to say. They were not interested to hear why I wanted to leave. They made up their own reasons and then refused to listen to anything else. They did not care that I had reasons.
But I don't know. It's just look. I've just seen this, but I think that this is obviously a fence shaker. But I feel like the more you shake the fence, the less likely is that anyone's gonna stay there,
Yeah,
and they
the
keep
more you shake the fence.
They shake the fence all the time nowadays.
And it's
where
gonna
people are gonna be
topple.
like, you know what? Let me just look it up real quick, because this seems to be like a huge issue. I have to be prepared if apostates come or whatever. Like they'll find a reason. Jehovah's Witnesses will find a reason to look this up. So it's the Barbara Streisand effect. We've all seen her house now. That's what's going to happen. The more they shake the fence, the less Jehovah's Witnesses are going to stay after. So I can't be too disappointed at this, but maybe because I just saw Jade and Neeta. I don't know.
I also think there's something to be said about the desperation required to do this, because they have for a very long time had the tactic of burying their head in the sand. They never acknowledge criticism. So for them to get to the point where they're willing to make a video saying, don't listen to our critics, walk away, shut them down, don't Google, like they're going out of their way, there has to be a failing in that strategy. They have to know that this is bad for them.
Yeah. Let's speed through the rest of the broadcast to see what else we find. There's not. We won't find something better than Jade and Neeta. Come on, like we've hit gold already.
We've hit the top.
How wise it was for Jade to distinguish between the dangerous falsehoods about Jehovah's people and the person unwittingly promoting them.
I can't watch it twice.
Jade took a clear stand, but she also patiently showed that she loved her mother. This not only protected Jade from dangerous thinking, but also helped her mother. Unfortunately, as our children grow and attend school, many face a modern scourge, bullying. How can they overcome the fear and negative feelings that being bullied causes? We'll listen to two of our teenagers share what worked for them in this edition of My Teen Life.
I know it's my favorite, and it actually is decent this time. Like, they come back with the funny music and the...
But the topic is boring.
Like, it's a little better.
Skip it. Boo.
Yeah.
We're bullying them
whatever.
Now.
Like, we all get bullied because we're Jehovah's Witnesses when we're kids. Like, we get it. Like, this isn't gonna help us. This never helped me.
All right.
My experience with bullying ultimately started in physical education with this kid who shared a locker a few spaces away from me, took that opportunity and started to verbally attack me.
I first experienced bullying in elementary school, but it was little stuff, nothing too big. In middle school is when it was really, really something. It was upsetting that I was being bullied. It made me feel like I was doing something wrong. Why did I have to be the target?
It got really personal. He'd call me names. He would say that, I wasn't good at anything. No one cared about me, that I was dumb, that I was weak. Especially after he found out that I was a witness, then the text just got even more intense.
There was one day specifically that was really bad. It started in a classroom. I heard one girl talk to another girl about me right in front of me. And these were...
both went to public school. Did either of you ever actually get bullied for being a witness?
A little bit, but like it was just being...
I wasn't bullied for being a witness that much. I was bullied for behaving like a witness because I didn't have friends. I was a weirdo. I tried to preach to my fellow co-students. So yeah, I got bullied for that, and I can totally see why. Like, I shouldn't have been doing that. That's not something that you do at school.
Yeah.
In our next video, see how three brothers learn to trust completely in Jehovah and his righteous principles when confronted with persecution, immoral influences, and the snare of pride.
Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 made a tremendous impression on me. Trust in Jehovah with all your heart. When I was younger, I probably said, all right, let me try it and see if it works.
As much as I loved what I was learning from Jehovah, I was still leaning a lot on my own understanding.
Obviously, when we make decisions in our lives, a spiritual person, they review and think, let's do this Jehovah's way. And that was something that I had lost sight of at that moment in my life.
There was considerable opposition to the work. We expected, when we did street work, we might be picked up and...
Basically just like, everything will go well for you.
Yeah, look at these three people who heard Jehovah, and they're still alive.
With success like that, why would we try any other way? Or, as this month's music video asks, to whom could I go away? Enjoy this faith-strengthening original song.
Yes!
What does that mean?
I can't wait.
It's actually a thing that witnesses say a lot. Basically, like if you...
To whom could I go away?
Yeah, like if not witnesses, who
It's
else
what
is-
I've literally never
who else
heard
could
that
I
phrase.
go to?
The apostles,
It's
yeah,
from
the
the Bible.
apostles said that to Jesus when Jesus said something controversial to a crowd, and the crowd
No,
left.
I know that. I know that
Jesus-
story. I've never heard a Jehovah's Witness utter that phrase. I've heard them say things like, "Oh, I can never go to another religion." Before I said that, but like I didn't know about the phrase being said.
Yeah, this phrase is more of a Mormon phrase, right? Like I feel you hear that a lot, like as something that keeps
Weird.
Mormons indoctrinated. I've been to the ex-Mormon subreddit, and
Interesting.
they keep saying that. Where would you go? That's what the Mormons say. Like it's a go-to.
I've had my
Yeah,
mother
it's
say
a
that.
go-to for Mormons. Like Mormons say that quite a lot.
Original song.
Let's
All right, here
listen
we go.
in. I love
this
this.
music video. You're gonna love the message of it.
I'm sure I will.
The message is by Lennon.
I think they all just woke up in paradise.
Oh,
Why do
no,
they keep
it's
using
a
the
bad
singer?
song.
I can't stand the singer.
It's a bad song.
That poor child.
And he shows me the way. He guides every step, never leads me astray.
Aw, so smug.
Why should I ever listen?
Not science.
To voices in opposition, those who would make me stray.
Everyone
Oh
around
my
him is
God.
like, that seems convincing to me. Excuse me?
I will not look at the fossil record.
I'm
I
sorry,
will not
but
look at the
I'm
proof that you're
sorry.
giving me, man.
Please do not display evidence. This is a sin against God.
She's like,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my
Oh, it's
God.
coming.
Is she gonna get converted?
Yeah, of course. She's gonna go from hippie
She's
to
about to
JW.
talk. Oh my.
Oh my god! He's like, oh, darling, no.
I wish it showed her like crumpling it and throwing it down.
Yeah.
By the way, this is all like red toned for me, so it's very funny.
I'm secure and contented with my place in his care.
Oh no, she's not as hot as your the other girl. Go
She's
back.
cute. She's fine.
She's fine. She's attractive. I shouldn't be judging people on attractiveness. That's not nice.
Son is my savior with sayings of life. I will never.
This video is surprisingly well planned, though.
Hey, come join us.
We're gonna go drink at work.
We're gonna
Free
we're gonna
alcohol.
Go drink a little bit
At
and
work.
Have fun. At work, yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Who does that?
There's a few companies
Hey,
that do.
I am an important businessman. I'm rich. I have a phone.
And I'm pissed
You will
that
never
you won't
be rich
join us.
like me, man.
There's nothing sinful even going on here. He just doesn't want to
Not to
spend
mention,
time with his
nobody would
coworkers.
react that way if you refused to spend time with them.
Yeah, they would just be like, all right, cool. More alcohol for us. Dude, just take. What's wrong with just sharing a cup? Like, oh my god, what an asshole. Seriously, like they just achieved something at his work, and he's not even gonna join in with the rest of the coworkers.
He doesn't even have to
What a
drink.
jerk.
He doesn't even have to drink. He could stick around for like 10 minutes and then leave.
Yeah. Just be like, hey, isn't it great that we
what is the sin
accomplished
there?
something all together? It is a really
And
cool
he's
thing
like,
that
no.
we did this.
Fuck you.
Oh, wow.
The message you're supposed to get out of that is you shouldn't associate
Yes.
Oh
with
my
coworkers.
god.
He's
There's
quiet
nothing wrong with
quitting
that.
the world.
Oh my
It's
god.
5 o'clock. No more. Do not speak to me. You can talk to the Bible.
But we're
This
not
song
done.
is really bad. I thought it was gonna be
We
good
haven't,
though.
we haven't even been listening to the lyrics. We're just criticizing the video.
I mean,
Yeah.
Name
yeah.
do we
one
really
lyric.
need to listen to the lyrics?
Yes.
Do we really not know what the lyrics are? I feel we know what the lyrics
name
are.
a lyric.
I mean, I don't know. I think
Name
I
a
can.
lyric, Caleb.
I'm just saying. I
I
feel like
can't.
it wouldn't surprise me. Like if I had listened to them, I feel like I wouldn't have learned anything new anyway.
To whom shall we go
That's
away?
not a lyric in it. No, it's
That
not.
was
It's
a
the title
lyric.
of the song.
Yeah.
Press play.
No, they use it
Press play.
repeatedly.
I wasn't listening.
What? What did I tell you?
This is a bad song. This is a bad
This one's
song.
gonna get you mad. This one's gonna
Is
get
he
you
about
mad.
to die?
Oh wow. Okay, I regret everything I said about his wife. He
needs a blood
beautifully.
transfusion.
Wow. Hey, listen. So you're gonna die if you don't get any blood transfusion. He's like, no, and then he doesn't. He doesn't. 'Cause
They
that's
probably
what-
did. They did bloodless surgery in time because they didn't argue with him.
Oh my god. I don't like it. Why do they use like an older version of him? Like when there's an older version of him, why do they use a different actor? But they don't use an older version of the lady.
Here's my.
Like, is
That's
it because the
true.
lady always has to be hot?
Yes. Also,
Yeah.
why is it that in order to include people of color, they literally had this white man go around preaching and proselytizing to a bunch of people of color? Like, they could have at least made his spouse a person of color, but no, she is white bread white. He is white bread white. It's the 70s.
Are you ready to have
Yes.
Yeah, because this is the last bit, right? We're
It's gonna
Just
blow
tell
us. All right.
your mind.
All right.
Okay. So, look what's behind him.
I don't know what that is.
the double helix, the DNA.
What's on
Oh
the
my
flag?
god!
What?
Okay, hold on.
Oh my god! Seriously, the mascot is the lion?
It gets better.
The lion again?
Every source of temptation has a lion snuck into the background.
Oh my god!
The hospital's logo is a lion. The business's logo is a lion.
That looks more
and
like
the
a
school's
rabbit
logo is a
bunny,
lion.
though.
Oh my god! Because lions in Jehovah's Witnesses' imagination hunt down sheep. That's why.
And because Satan is about like a roaring lion.
Oh, I gotta go let the cat upstairs.
And they use the pose of that one lion, like the wild beast.
Oh my god!
It's very like this is a well planned out video, and you'll see all the the randos in the background end up resurrected in the paradise at the end. Like they planned out this pretty well. The music's terrible, but the choreography is fantastic.
For Jehovah's Witness standards, yeah.
It's so gross.